my name is Chloe Taylor and I'm the creator of kozykale, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a spirit message or a pick a card reading that is a direct message from your spirit guide. I try to do at least one of these kinds of pick a cards once a month. So before you head off to the timestamps, for those of you that know what this is about, like how to pick your cards and whatnot, I just want to let you guys know that I will have affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra to use them, but if you want any of the decks that I use in my readings, those links are provided per, like whatever reading I'm doing, I put the specific decks in the description. So please make sure you head there to get them. It helps me out, doesn't cost you anything extra to use them. And also please, 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 for any extra added guidance, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at kozykale. I'm really trying to get the swipe up feature on Instagram, and it would mean the world to me if you guys followed me over there to get me to that goal, so I can actually give you guys links to videos in my stories. It would be so helpful. So if you like what you see here, please also do not forget to subscribe and like the video. It helps out the channel quite a bit. So all right, if you are already here and knowing how to do pick a cards, just head over to the timestamps down below. If you're on mobile, go to the comment section. It will be the top pinned comment. If you are on PC, you can go to the description box. They will be there at the top of the description box. Now, if you don't know how pick a cards work, let me explain it for you. So what you're going to want to do is pause this video, and you are going to want to choose either pile number 1, 2, 3, or 4. And basically you can pause the video, meditate on the cards. You can say the numbers 111, 222, 333, 444, and make your selection based on which number calls out to you. The number one thing that I want to say is these messages directly are channeled through spirit guides, through many people's spirit guides, and you cannot choose the wrong pile. So I would highly encourage you to make a selection and just stick with that, because you will always be led to the right number no matter what. So don't let yourself second guess yourself. Always go, usually it's with the first number that like really sticks out to you. Another way you can look is if you have a lucky number, check out the timestamp, see if any of the numbers jump out to you. That's how I select a lot of things in life, is by seeing my lucky number in different places. So it's never led me astray. It's always been a good tactic. So anyways, go ahead and pause the video now if you're going to be doing that. And remember, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's get started. All right, pile number 1. So starting out for you guys, we have the 10 of water, the 10 of fire, the mind and body card, and the thought card. Now, and not thought like TH or however you spell, like, you know what I'm talking about, that thought over, you know, that hoe over there. We're not talking about that. Thought as in THOUGHT. But first and foremost, with the 10 of water, what that card really symbolizes is divine connection and divine love. So I'm sensing that a lot of you guys that chose pile number 1 are maybe feeling very sad, very heartbroken. I think you guys are dealing with a lot on your plate, and you're actually being asked that, just like this card here underneath. Excuse me, this is the 9 of water, but don't worry, meaning is the same. Not that each card is the same, but I knew image-wise what I was reading for. But with this 9 of water card, what this says is that you have divine love and divine connection, and angels are actually around you. Your guides are with you right now. And all you need to do is look up and to actually start working with them, communicating with them, and know that they love you unconditionally. Unconditionally. Like, I can feel their divine love, like, right now, and like they truly love you unconditionally. Like, you really are you are unconditional love and bliss at your core, and they want you to discover that. They want you to know that you are so supported in everything you're doing right now, and they want to offer you serenity and peace, and they want you to open up to them so that they can provide you with that. So the next thing they want you to know is that if you've been thinking about anything, or if you've already started something in your life, this is actually a really good thing. The 10 of fire tells me that this is the mastery card. This is whatever you've been thinking about starting, maybe in the new year, you've given it some thoughts, or anytime. These messages are timeless. So, or anytime whatever this thing is that you're thinking about cultivating, it's about you becoming a master of this thing. We have this form here, this like shadow figured cosmic form, being completely lit up and engulfed in passion. He or she, they, I guess I should say, has these tools that they're wielding because they know exactly what to do with them. And basically you're being told that you have all of the tools that you could ever possibly need at your disposal right now. All you need to do is start learning and open yourself up to the possibility that you can master whatever this thing is. So the next thing they want you to know, and this one I think is a little more pointed at the new year, we have the mind body card. And the mind body card tells us that you need to be giving a little bit more thought to how, like, especially those of you that are wanting to start like new health regimens in the new year, you're actually being asked to reconsider what like diet plans you're thinking of or anything of that nature. Because with the mind body card, basically it's asking how what you eat affects your body and how the way that you also think, how the way that you eat affects your mind and how the way you think affects your body, because those two things are linked. Science in the like nowadays studies, they actually call the gut the second brain, and it's because it controls so much of our body's functions that we truly do like need to be feeding it appropriately. And so whatever that means for you, I think you're actually really being cautioned not to jump on a new fad diet. And even if it takes you more time to get where you want to be with your mind and body, don't go to like the quickest thing, because ultimately I think you'll be setting yourself up for failure, and it's just not, it's not it. It is not it. The strong message that I'm hearing right now is if this like is resonating with you, whatever diet you're thinking of going on, even if it's worked for you in the past, you are causing such a disharmony in your body with it, because your body really, it knows what it needs. And I feel like those of us, myself included here sometimes, those of us that have gone into certain fad diets just to try to make ourselves look a certain way instead of actually taking the time to listen to what our body desires and feed it that, and like come to understand the mind and body, the connection between the two of them, like it just causes so much destruction, because every time you put your body into a starvation or a famine state, it will basically hold on to all of that storage, and it's just preparing you for the next famine constantly. So I could sit here and talk for hours on end about the mind-body connection. I'm a sun moon in the 6th house. I have like a huge stake in nutrition, health, and wellness. So I'm going to spare you all of that talk and just cut it off there, because spirit is telling me that I'm being a little bit too long-winded right now. But just really consider what you're doing with your body. But in this new year in particular, if that's like a big goal for you, just really take that seriously and like get clear on how you feel. Don't change because you feel like the world needs to see you differently. Do something because it's good for your body. And trust me, most diets, not good for your body. Okay, anyways, spirit, I know, I hear you. So the next thing we have is thought. And what I think is very interesting here with our mind-body connection, I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera or not, but we have these 2 masks right here. And then we also have those same 2 masks present in this card up here. There's kind of a glare, but do you see that right there? We actually have like a synchronicity going on in these 2 cards. And I think the biggest thing that you are being asked to look into is how you are speaking to yourself, how you're thinking about yourself. A lot of these cards are actually linked in this like very thing. Like if you think you're not good enough for mastery, if you are wallowing in your own self-pity or your own failure right now, or you are trying to change yourself based on the world's idea of the perfect body, then you're not actually, my ears are ringing. You're not actually in control of your thoughts. You're letting life kind of take you by the ride that it wants to, instead of actually changing the way that you think about yourself and your body. Because rest assured, whatever intention you put in first, and like you continue to feed your mind, no matter what it is, your reality has no choice but to give that to you. The universe doesn't deal in yes and no. It says, oh, you're thinking about this thing over and over and over and over. Let me deliver that, no matter what it is. So if you're wallowing and not trying to change your situation, that's going to dramatically affect you. Now, I'm not sitting here talking about like literal mental health, things like that. Like if you need help, please always go and reach out and get the help that you need. I am not meant to be a replacement for a therapist. I am not trained in that profession. So please don't get what I'm saying confused. I'm not somebody that's going to blow sunshine up your ass either and tell you that everything in the world just needs to be happy and positive and smiling all the time. But I can tell you from personal experience as well, which I feel like I'm being prompted to say, that when you change your thoughts, you really do change your reality. And if that's about the body, if that's about skills that you're trying to obtain, you will change it. You just have to work from the inside out. So the next thing we have is the Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. So I think right now, because again, we are coming, if you're watching this as it's coming out, which some of you, again, these are timeless messages, so you might be listening to this a little bit later. But for those of you that are listening to this, actually, no matter when, it doesn't really matter. But I do feel like right now you guys are in the planning phase. Maybe even with the messages that I've delivered to you today, it's given you something to think about, and you will be in the planning stages for a little bit. But rest assured that any foundation that you lay down right now is going to shape your future, no matter which way. Like, depending on what intention you put in, your foundation is going to lay on top of this. Right now, you are at a very pivotal moment in your life. And based on the intentions that you put out there, you're going to shape the next like era of your future. So you're being told that like, trust the divine in the planning, reach out, ask for guidance, speak with yourself, speak with those that you really do deem, maybe on your path to success. Go to those people that are masters of what you already are looking to create and see what's out there. Don't go to people that, and I don't know why this message is coming through so strong right now, but something your guides want you to know is that like, do not go to people who have not been where you've been. And I myself actually struggle with this too, but do not go to people who haven't been where you've been. If you are looking to like break the game or change the game, break the status quo, do something different with your life, don't go to people that aren't doing those things. Go to somebody and become an apprentice to somebody that has been there, that has done it, so you can learn and grow and understand. Don't go to people that have no grand scheme of a vision or no clue on where to start with where you're going. Don't go to those people for advice, because I feel like they will shut your ideas down, and their opinions truthfully don't matter. You're the one in this. This is your claim and stake in life. So go to those that actually can guide and direct you. I don't know why that message is coming through so strong. Like, it's like I'm getting this message of like, somebody put your ideas down and now you feel like you can't do it. And that coming in strongly up here as well. But actually you can, you've just been going to the wrong people. So the next thing I have for you is the final card, my friends. And this is a spirit animal message for you. And you guys actually got the hummingbird. I think we've seen this one before in one of these readings, which is very funny. I feel like maybe those of you that got the hummingbird have seen this card before if you chose it in a past reading of mine. But the hummingbird corresponds to the element of air, the colors blue, gray, green, red, and they technically can also be any color. But the hummingbird symbolizes lightness of being. It also means to enjoy your life to the fullest, drinking in life's nectar, because hummingbirds, they drink nectar. And it's about holding those that are close to you even closer and loving with abandon. And it's also about being very present in your life. Hummingbird is also considered one of the most aggressive bird species. And regardless of how small it is, because hummingbird is very small, I don't know if you guys have seen one, but regardless of how small it is, when hummingbird shows up in your life, you are meant to stand up for yourself and not let others intimidate you. So this is exactly what I was just talking about, to a degree. So hummingbird also gives you speed, and you often do things very fast. Sometimes you may need to slow down, and hummingbird has to slow down too. So to you, this could also mean that while you move quickly, you can't wear yourself down. You need to make sure that you take the time to recharge before taking flight again in life. And and hummingbird can also fly backward, forward, and it can hover, which means that you can go with the flow and adapt to quick change. Take the time to stop, look, and listen. And hummingbird also encourages you to embrace the playfulness inside you. And it's essential to your well-being to find balance between going 100 miles an hour and sleeping. Sometimes you just need to slow down without actually stopping. So I feel like knowing that in mind, wherever you are in your life right now, like I said, I feel like this is a very pivotal moment for you guys, and things are about to start moving very quickly. So you need to really get your mind and your priorities right so you can take on this next cycle of life. But I hope this helped you guys. Pile number one, your guides love you so, so, so much. I can feel that in my room right now. They love you so much. I hope this message rests easy with you guys and that it gave you a direction to strive towards. Thank you so very much. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at kozykale. And also to check out both of my podcasts, link down below for you guys. One is my personal podcast. Another I run with my IRL twin flame, which will be returning on December 31st. So I look forward, or excuse me, December 30th. But I look forward to all of that. Cozy Cast is still going strong every Tuesday, so make sure you check it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a future video. Thank you so very much for listening. Bye. All right, my beautiful pile number twos. For you guys, we have the reversed hero. We have the reversed faith card, the reversed self card, and we also have the maiden. And we have a few more cards too, which I'll lay out in a moment. But first and foremost, what Spirit and your guides want you to know is that you are trying to fill too many roles for too many people. And unfortunately, when you do that, you also turn yourself into a martyr. You are somebody that potentially currently is putting yourself in a position where you've taken on too much. You feel like it's your responsibility, but I hate to be the person that says this, but Spirit is pressuring. You've done it to yourself. You are in a position where you've taken on so much, but you've said yes to all of these things. And granted, even though you were full of positive intention, you wanted to do this for the right reasons, you weren't doing it to necessarily gain a bunch of glory. But I feel like you are somebody like, this to me is like a classic feeling of like, you're the oldest sibling. You've always been the one that's been in charge and taking care of everyone. And so you put yourself in a position of having to take care of everyone all the time. And unfortunately, what that's done is it's actually made you not who you intended to be right now. And I feel like you're actually currently in a position of feeling like a martyr. You're feeling very sorry for yourself because you just feel like nobody really appreciates the good work that you do, because rest assured, you do great work, but you feel like nobody really appreciates what you're doing and they just kind of expect it. And that has hurt your feelings. Now, what I will say is part of this comes from a lack of belief in yourself. With the faith and the self card, it's like you see good things happen for other people. You see other people out there living their best lives and you think, nope, never going to happen for me. Absolutely not. And the reality of the situation is as you start to understand yourself, learn from yourself, grow from yourself, and like really like look at this girl. She's literally sitting, meditating, listening to her own inner flame and igniting herself. She is somebody that is going to bloom into the maiden, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Another thing that I want to say about these cards is like, it's It's about blooming into yourself, yes, and not always being everything for everyone else. Like, this is almost about being a little more selfish. You need to be more selfish. You need to not let people have all these expectations of you. And you need to know, Spirit wants you to know that it might be an adjustment period for you, but people will respect your boundaries, but they can't respect your boundaries if they don't know what they are. So I feel like you haven't really laid boundaries with people in your life, but now you're upset that you're doing too much. It's too much for you, and you have made no time for yourself. And it's honestly, I think it's affecting the person that you are. It's making you into someone that you don't really want to be. And you maybe feel like you're living a life that you don't even want to live. And I don't mean that on like a, you want to die. That's not what I'm saying. But just in general, I feel like I'm getting this feeling of like, this isn't the life I wanted to live. This isn't who I wanted to be. This isn't what I expected life to be like at this time. And Spirit wants me to reassure you now that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Even if it doesn't feel good, you're feeling uncomfortable because change is coming. You're meant to change. You're meant to grow through this. This is part of your life cycle. And you are meant to come into this stage of becoming the maiden of your life. The maiden in this deck really talks about taking your own path. This is like, if you think about like a maiden, we talk about sometimes the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And the maiden is like the very beginning stage, the first steps into finding yourself, into finding who you are, and doing that with curiosity and yet some amount of confidence. And I feel like that's actually what you're moving to. You're coming to a breaking point in life right now where you're just kind of done with this I don't believe in myself, poor me, pity me attitude. And you're moving into this attitude of, nope, life is exactly what I make it, and I'm going to go forth on my own intended path. And the maiden for some of you guys also symbolizes fertility. So some of you guys might even actually be starting your own families, and therefore you no longer have time for like the family that like, maybe this would be like your in-laws or like your family, because now you're coming into starting your own, and that needs to be the priority for you right now. So you do need to get a little bit more selfish, and this is something that you need to learn. Like, that's like the biggest message that's coming through is it's like, you need to learn this. You need to learn where boundaries are appropriate, and you need to start looking after yourself. And like that energy that you spend worrying about how everybody else feels about you, you need to give it back to yourself. Because guess what? In 2020, period, we are not doing this to ourselves anymore. We are not. We're taking care of ourselves in 2020. And Spirit also, I know this was kind of like, oof, big mood here, but Spirit also wants you to know that you're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Even with the things that I've just told you, maybe those are things that you're like, oh man, I already knew that. You're reading me for the filth, right? If this is like resonating with you, you're already doing it. Keep facing your north. Keep rolling with things as they come. You're doing things. You're going in the right direction. Like I said, you're never off path. You are always on the right path. This was part of your path. You're already going in that direction, so you don't need to stress out about it. You've got this. You've got this 110%. You don't need to stress. So, also, I just love that deck. It's such a beautiful, work your light. By the way, decks down below if you guys want those. And then I have one more card here, but I'm just trying to pull up the information for it because I do not have all of these memorized, which I feel like anybody who does is amazing. But we have the bighorn sheep as your spirit animal card. So I'm just trying to pull that up now. Okay. So we have the bighorn sheep, which tells us that this element the element associated with the bighorn sheep, so basically for the spirit animal, if you've never listened to one of my readings, the spirit animal is just kind of here to provide like an extra message that spirit wanted you to know. And also if you see a bighorn sheep or like a goat or something like that anywhere while you're out, it's a sign that spirit's trying to communicate with you. So we have the element of earth, primary colors, black, brown, gold, gray, silver, white, and multicolored. Nope, I'm sorry. I was like, that doesn't sound right. I'm reading the wrong page. I'm sorry. I was reading for gerbil. Sorry. Bighorn sheep. Ooh. Element earth, primary colors, black, brown, gray, red, white, mixture of colors and patterns. I was like, when have you ever seen a multicolored goat? I'm sorry. When goat appears, it means that now is the time to take one step at a time, being cautious and practical. So take one step at a time on this journey. Like goat, you are determined and don't let obstacles stand in your way. There are times when you can move forward very quickly, jumping to new heights and being a bit reckless in your pursuits. Now is not one of those times. Instead, remain determined and fearless and access your inner strength to make calculated choices on your path. While you are open to listening to the advice of others, if the advice doesn't intuitively seem correct for the situation, then look to your higher self for alternative solutions. Goat means you will make great achievements because you don't Goat means you will make great achievements because you don't give up when you set your mind toward a goal. Goat warns against overindulgent behavior, relying on others too much, or giving up too soon. The path to success can be a long one, but you're up for the journey. Goat helps when you need to open yourself up and make a conscious effort to examine your emotions. And I read the goat page because this book doesn't specifically have a bighorn sheep. The closest thing we have is goat, and so that is the message that is associated here. But I hope this has helped you on your path. Please know, you guys, that you really are going in the right direction. Spirit has your back. If you need help, if you feel like you're struggling, don't be afraid to ask your guides for help and assistance along this path, because that's what they're there for. I love you guys so much. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at kozykale. And please do not forget to follow my podcasts. I have Cozycast, which is my personal podcast about self-development and manifestation, spirituality, things like that. And then I have my secondary podcast that I run with my IRL twin flame. It's called Twin Flames. And we discuss all kinds of self-help, self-development, growth. She's in her master's in psychology, and I bring in the spiritual aspect, and it's a good time. We're coming back for season 2 on December 30th, so be sure you're following the podcast so you can tune in, and I will see you guys in a future video. Thank you so much. Bye. All right, my lovely pile number 3s, if you have chosen pile number 3, what I have for you is heaven and earth. Let's try to get that straight. There we go. What I have for you is heaven and earth, the reverse 10 of earth, reversed emotions, and also the 8 of air. So, and we have more cards too, which I'll get to in a moment, but starting out with just these few, with heaven and earth, I feel like right now what Spirit wants you to know, what your guides want you to know, is that a big part of this card talks about oneness and accepting the ideology of oneness. It also talks about basically like as above, so below, magic in the mundane. And it also talks about material things and basically finding balance within that. So this card to me really is a major sign of balance. And it's also about like not letting yourself get stuck in the mundane day to day, because you guys are actually meant to stand out. And I say that because we do have this 10 of earth reversed, and what this card says normally in an upright position is like it's about the mask that you wear to the public, or like your image to family or people that you associate with, like you're not being your truest self. And in the upright position, it's about like you removing that. But when we see it in a blocked position, this is more about you being too afraid to take off that mask and actually be yourself, share yourself authentically, share the true magic and essence that is you. And I feel like because you're not being your real self with people, you actually are bored with life because nobody knows you for who you really are. Maybe you're somebody who is broom closeted, or somebody who is just not living, like you're living your life through the lens of someone else, whether it's like parental oppression or because a relationship or like there's just something here feels very oppressive. And I feel like you've been pushed into this position and you've just kind of stayed there. But what Spirit wants you to know is that it's time to rebalance the scale. It's time to take off the mask and be who you are. And trust that even if people fall away from you, the right people will fall into you, as weird as that might sound. No matter who it is, I think very, very, very often in this life, a lot of us are taught from a very young age that we need to prioritize family, and that family is the end all be all. And so we will like endure, some of us, not everyone, some of you guys though, will endure a lot of abuse because, oh, it's family and that's how it's supposed to be. But in reality, you're the one that actually needs to create change by being yourself. So be yourself. We also have the reversed emotions card here, and the reversed emotions card really talks about needing to address the common symptoms of emotional repression in your life. So this, for some of you, I want to specify, I am not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I am not licensed for that. So please seek out help if need be. But these cards are kind of interesting to work with because they do talk a lot about like the emotional needs of others, and they do deal with a lot of the subconscious. And it's very difficult sometimes to not link mental health with these cards. So I just want to rephrase to you guys, I'm not a licensed therapist. I am a tarot card reader. I am an intuitive. I do have psychic gift, but I'm not like to be replaced with therapy. So please just keep that in mind. But basically, this has a lot to do with the repression of your own feelings and your truest self. And because of that, you, I feel like, have been in a very painful situation, whether it be a relationship or not. It's like a toxic loop. You guys have been caught in this like toxic loop. And with this toxic loop, it's like basically the dagger goes out with this 8 of air. The dagger goes out intending to injure and hurt someone, but it comes right back and injures and hurts you. And this is where we kind of can bring up that oneness that I was talking about, the universal law of oneness, that we literally all are one in the same. We are all one. Like, it's a very hard concept to explain. Someday I'll make a video on it, but it's like we are the universe pushed out. So like, there's a part of us that vibes with every single other person on the planet. And so we actually can relate. And like the reason we like certain people is because we vibe with that energy and we find it pleasing to ourselves. And when we dislike certain people, it's because parts of us that we don't like vibe with that as well. So we really are one. And I feel like there are so many other people that explain that better than I do. And I need to really get clear on the universal law of oneness so I can explain it better, because it's come up a few times in readings. But basically, with your emotions being repressed, it's like, I feel like sometimes you just go from 0 to 100 without like, you're somebody that's very quick to ignite, because you've been so repressed that like you repress these things, and it's like one little thing happens and you explode and you hurt way more than you intend to. You hurt yourself, you hurt other people, because you're not allowing yourself to be who you are. And so everybody around you is just like really confused. And I think you're also confused as to where it's coming from because of this repression. So we also have the warrior woman here, and the warrior woman, it says, have you answered your deepest calling? The warrior woman is somebody who is not to be trifled with. I firmly believe this is you. You are somebody that has the power. I feel like you maybe have felt very weak in your life, or at least currently where you are, you felt very powerless and very weak, and your spirit guides are here to remind you. I'm sorry, I'm gonna start crying. Somebody's spirit guides are definitely here telling you that you are powerful, you are strong, you can overcome this. This is not something that's going to defeat you. Not today, Satan, okay? You can make it through this, and you just need to find the right support systems that will allow you you need to find somebody that will make the right space for you. That's really what it is. I feel like you need to make time and energy for yourself, but you also need to find the right people to link up with that will hold space for you to be yourself. And that's the parts of you that you deem really ugly, the parts of you that you deem really beautiful. It doesn't matter. It's all a part of you. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of all the parts, even the parts of you that you feel like maybe have rough edges. They're all beautiful and they all serve a purpose. So, I feel like this reading is very powerful. Sorry. I'm like shaking a little bit. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with, pile number 3, is we have this swan card here, and I'm actually going to read this one for you guys because this is from the Llewellyn's book of spirit animals, and I feel like it's impossible to memorize all of these card meanings because they're very descriptive. And so I just read them from a book, link for it down below if you would like it. But swan corresponds to the element of earth and water, and they are usually black and white. Swan symbolizes love, fidelity, and romance. Swans mate for life, yet each remains a unique individual. When swan appears, it means there is a new relationship coming into your life. You will meet someone new at work, make a new friend, or start a new love relationship. Swan means to look at inner beauty, not just someone's outer appearance. When it comes to any relationship, you have an intuitive knowledge of the other person and understand their emotions and the way they think. This makes you an easy person to work with and likely a confidant. You're loyal, and once you're committed to someone, you're committed for life, even if you go your separate ways. If that person ever comes to you for help in the future, you'll be there for them. Swan reminds you to express yourself with clarity and to take time out of every day for silence and to always hum or whistle a little tune at some point during your day. This will give you a sense of balance and keep you connected with your inner self. Assist when you need to have faith, see the mysteries in life, and reconnect with your bliss. So even right here, it talks about finding someone new. So I feel like this swan card is here to help you. They might even like have swans randomly, or like a swan necklace, or maybe their favorite movie is the Swan Princess. Like this swan is linked to that person. And I think this is going to be the person that's going to make space for you to express yourself authentically. I see that coming into your life. And I also get the sense that this is something that's going to rebalance you. We talked about balance up here with the heaven and earth card, and the swan kind of just reiterated that. So pile number 3, I hope this message rests with you well. Thank you so very much. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at kozykale, and my podcasts, I have 2 of them. One is called Cozycast. It's my personal podcast. And then we also have Twin Flames podcast, which is a podcast that I run with my IRL Twin Flame. And both of them are kind of on the self-help, self-development path. So I would love it if you guys would come over there and hang out. One podcast is coming back. Twin Flames is coming back for season 2 on December 30th. And Cozycast goes up every single Tuesday. So I will see you guys hopefully, or you will hear me there. Also make sure to stick around if you like this content. I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you in a future video. Bye. Hello, my beautiful pile number 4s. If you chose this pile, what I have for you, we have, first of all, the reversed, or excuse me, it's not reversed. We got it upright. The upright choice card. And choice, honestly, I really love this card because it is like the true start of this particular deck. It can fit in at any place, kind of like the Fool, but it's not the same. This deck doesn't really read identical to a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. But the choice card, basically, this card is saying that you might be faced with a dilemma right now, and maybe that's why you even came to this reading. And basically, Spirit wants you to know that you need to just make a choice, because if you don't make the choice yourself, the universe will make it for you, and it may not be the choice that you actually wanted. So it's up to you to make that choice. And we also have the 5 of Water reversed. And the 5 of Water reversed talks a lot about how It's okay for you to like feel sad or upset sometimes, maybe even by these choices. Maybe they are both really crappy choices and you don't want to make either of them, but it really doesn't serve you right now to operate from a victim mindset. It's better for you to actually just make a choice and let bygones be bygones versus holding on to these ill feelings, because you're just going to get stuck in a perpetual state of indecision, and that's not going to help you. Spirit also wants to assure you that when you finally make a conscious choice on what's going on here, you'll be going in a new direction. And I think it will be good for you, because we have the Three of Fire and we also have the King of Fire. And both of these cards actually talk a lot about like going in the right, I hesitate to say right direction. It's not the wrong direction, but it's like just taking action, and it's going to lead you into a new point of exploration. And like, to me, this is a transition. This is like starting something new, maybe even if it was scary, starting something new. And then eventually you're going to transition into a King of Fire, which in a lot of ways is like a master. It's not quite mastery the way that like the Ten of Fire is, but it's a lot to do with like being dauntless and also being very powerful and charismatic, being a leader of your own life. And so I feel like whatever is like on your mind right now, whatever decision you make, yes, it's going to lead you down a different path, but Spirit wants you to know that no matter what choice you make, it's going to be the right one, and you will see this cycle play out in a very positive way. We have the Three of Wands that's here to say like this is about like expansion, and this is about you exploring of yourself and getting like very clear on what different things you want to hone in your life. And the King of Fire is like, because of this, you're actually going to learn so much on your journey from this decision that you're going to be in a place where other people will look to you for guidance, for advice, for leadership in this, because you're going to be so amazing at it. Now, something I find very interesting with this reading, my pile number 4s, is we also have the card of wait, postpone, pause, and say no. So I do feel like there is one clear decision here. Spirit says that you already know, based on these two decisions that you're being faced with, one of them is the clear, correct decision. You already know. You don't need a reading to tell you. And whatever the decision that you feel is incorrect, that's the one that you need to say no to. I don't see this card very often come out because I feel like it is a very blunt, like there's no really interpretation for it. There's a yes card in this deck and a no card that they don't really show themselves unless Spirit really, really, really wants us to know something is a clear no. So get clear on that. You will know in your gut. Like, you could even do something that really works for me when I'm trying to make really tough decisions. This is so silly, but it works every time, is tell Google or Siri or someone like that to flip a coin and assign both decisions to heads or tails, like one to heads, one to tails. And then no matter the outcome, say that you assign choice A to heads and choice B to tails, and it came out tails, so choice B is your option. Ask yourself how that makes you feel. And if you feel like really, really, really bad and you're like, oh man, I wish it was choice A, then you automatically know, oh, choice A is the one I need to go with. Like, it's a really good exercise of testing your intuition, because you will always know what you actually want. Like, so many of us think that we don't know how to like make decisions or do certain things on our own, but you do. You do. Your higher self knows already the direction that you need to go. So just trust that. And this reading I feel like was a very quick one, but honestly, it was very cut and dry. And the other message I have for you guys, we do have a spirit message here and a spirit animal. I'm reading this one because I do not have them all memorized. I think that would be impossible. They're very lengthy descriptions, but this I'm going to be reading from Llewellyn's Little Book of Spirit Animals. I'll link it down below. You guys got the card of the snail. And the snail corresponds to the element of earth, primary colors brown and tan. Snail symbolizes patience. When snail shows up, it means to leave behind everything you thought about being patient. You are about to experience a situation where you'll feel your patience is being stretched so thin that it will break. Just hang in there, because snail also gives you the ability to see the end results long before you get there. Everything will work out as it should, and your patience will prove the best path to have taken in the end. Snail means that you're protected from negativity. You are always aware of what's happening around you. While you're not paranoid, you're usually on guard so that you never get caught unaware. Snail means that you're a loner who avoids crowds. This is because you're attuned to energy, and too much can have an overwhelming effect on you. This is a good time to practice raising your frequency so that you don't feel out of place if there are people around. When snail shows up, it means that you need to trust in others, which is hard for you to do, but know that with this trust comes balance, which you need at this time. So that's what I have for the spirit animal in this. And something I wanted to add to this is like the choice that you have to make here. For some of you guys, it might be the choice you don't want to make because it's going to take a long time to see results. But again, I want to affirm to you, this is a transition. This is you going from a 3 all the way to a king. So I feel like it might be a longer period of time because of that. So I hope this helped you, pile number 4. I'm sorry it was such a short reading. I feel like this one, out of all the others, was like very cut and dry. But that's all Spirit had for you guys. So thank you so very much. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at kozykale. And over on my podcast, I have 2 of them. Kozykast, which is my personal podcast, where I talk about basically like spirituality, my own experiences in self-development and growth. And then I also have Twin Flames podcast, where me and my IRL twin flame actually talk about self-development as well. But she's in a master's program for depth psychology, and I bring in the element of spirituality. We bridge the gap. It's really beautiful. We're going to be returning for season 2 on December 30th. So I hope you guys will come and follow the podcast. It's a really good time. And yeah, those links are all down below for you guys. I will see you in a future video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.